Welcome to Midlife Curiouses and the afternoon that is part 2 of our ninth day in Vietnam. Here we are driving to the capital city of Vietnam, Hanoi, after our Halong Bay cruise ended. After checking in at our hotel, the Babylon Grand Hotel, we drove to the Food Shop 45, an Indian restaurant about 3 minutes away. The food was good and they have vegetarian options as well. The ambience was nice too, especially because you can enjoy the lake view as you eat. I think this lake is the Chuk Bak Lake. Next was our city tour of Hanoi. We first drove to Ba Dinh Square about 7 minutes away. Ba Dinh Square is historically significant as the site where Ho Chi Minh declared Vietnam's independence from French rule on September 2, 1945. This square is home to several important monuments and landmarks, including the National Assembly building and the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum complex. Before entering the complex, you have to pass through security. Cameras are not allowed, but you can carry your phone. Justin, our Hanoi guide, had told me this, so I'd left my camera in the car. In the mausoleum complex, we first saw the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. This is a historic site where the embalmed body of Ho Chi Minh, the founding leader of modern Vietnam, is preserved. The architecture is inspired by Lenin's mausoleum in Moscow, but with Vietnamese elements built with materials from all over Vietnam. It is closed on Mondays and Fridays. This day was a Friday, and so I could only see it from the outside. In the interior of the mausoleum, visitors can see Ho Chi Minh's embalmed body, which is kept in a glass case under dim lighting. Also, inside silence is expected and photography is prohibited. Next, in the mausoleum complex, we saw the Presidential Palace, this yellow French colonial style building. Visitors are not allowed to enter, you can observe it from the outside only. This place was supposed to be the working and living space of President Ho Chi Minh. He refused to live here, choosing a modest house instead, but the palace remains an important political landmark.
Biết vợ chồng luật sư Yoshua là ân nhân của người khi buổi năm và cũng ở căn nhà này, Hồ Chủ tịch và các đồng 30 năm hoạt động của Đảng. Đây là một phương tiện tổng kết lịch sử Đảng ta qua 30 năm đấu tranh công việc.
These appear to be staff quarters and offices. These colonial style buildings were most probably originally used by French officials and were later repurposed as administrative offices and accommodations for President Ho Chi Minh's staff. This is House 54 and is historically significant as the residence and workplace of President Ho Chi Minh from 1954 to 1958. The Stilt House is where President Ho Chi Minh lived and worked from 1958 until his death in 1969. The house is inspired by the ethnic stilt houses of northern Vietnam, reflecting Ho Chi Minh's modest lifestyle. The house has 2 floors, the lower one is a meeting area. The upper floor has a bedroom and a study room with simple furnishings and a bookshelf. The house has a tranquil atmosphere because of the surrounding garden and fruit trees. The one pillar pagoda was built by Emperor Li Thai Tong as an offering of gratitude after he had a son, and couples hoping to conceive visit the pagoda to pray for children. After the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum complex, we drove to the Temple of Literature, about 5 minutes away. The Temple of Literature in Hanoi is a historic site dedicated to Confucius and was Vietnam's first national university. It was established in the year 1070 by Emperor Li Than Tong. It was then known as the Imperial Academy. It was a place where scholars from across the country came to study Confucian teachings and prepare for the royal examinations necessary for a government service career. Today, it is a popular destination for students who visit to pray for academic success. The layout of the Temple of Literature is thoughtfully organized into 5 grand courtyards, each with its own unique features and historical significance. The journey begins at the Great Middle Gate. This courtyard is the grand entrance to the temple, symbolizing the beginning of a scholar's pursuit of knowledge. The first courtyard is spacious and serene, with lush green gardens that create a peaceful atmosphere, encouraging visitors to leave behind worldly concerns as they enter the temple complex. The gate is flanked by 2 smaller gates, the Virtue Gate and the Talent Gate, reflecting the Confucian values of moral integrity and scholarly achievement. As visitors proceed through the Great Middle Gate, they enter the second courtyard, which houses the Pavilion of Constellation. This iconic structure, built in 1805 during the Nguyen dynasty, is a two-story wooden pavilion with an elegant red and white design. The pavilion is elevated on four stone stilts, and its upper floor features four circular windows that represent the sun and the moon, symbolizing the eternal nature of knowledge. The paintings on the right tell us that the scholar who ranked first in the Royal Government Service exams was given a horse which he rode to his hometown. There he would be welcomed and honoured by the townspeople, relatives, friends, etc. for his achievement. Beyond the Pavilion of Constellation lies the third courtyard, home to the Well of Heavenly Clarity. This rectangular pond, reflecting the sky above, is a symbol of purity and wisdom. The well is flanked by two rows of stone stelae, that is the stelae of doctors. These are 82 stone stelae on the backs of turtles and commemorate the scholars who passed the royal exam. The stelae are inscribed with the names of scholars who passed the royal examinations between 1442 and 1779. The turtle is a sacred animal in Vietnamese culture, representing longevity and wisdom. The third courtyard is a place of reflection where the serene waters of the well encourage contemplation and introspection, mirroring the scholarly pursuit of clarity and understanding. The fourth courtyard is entered through the gate to great success, a significant threshold that marks the transition from the outer courtyards to the more sacred areas of the temple. I asked Justin about the students here. He said that they seemed to be high school students and probably had been brought here on a field trip or cultural activity to pay their respects and pray before the upcoming college entrance exams. The architecture here is more ornate, reflecting the elevated status of this area as a place of worship and reverence. The highlight of this area is crimson columns and wooden ceilings from which old lanterns hang. The fourth courtyard represents the culmination of a scholar's journey, when knowledge and virtue are honored and celebrated. This courtyard is dominated by the beautiful House of Ceremonies and a sanctuary dedicated to Confucius, where rituals and offerings were once made to Confucius and his disciples. The courtyard also contains altars dedicated to the revered sages who played key roles in Vietnamese history. In the center of the sanctuary is an altar decorated in Vietnamese tradition with 5 basic elements including fire, metal, water, wood and earth. The altar is always filled with offerings and incense, expressing the devotion of the Vietnamese people to their ancestors. The fifth and last courtyard is the grounds of the Imperial Academy, where you will see a statue of the famous Vietnamese teacher and first rector of the Imperial Academy, Chu Van An. He was a great teacher who dedicated his whole life to education. The fifth courtyard also serves as a museum dedicated to Confucian education and notable scholars. The artwork and exhibits here typically depict historical figures and Vietnam's educational traditions. A 15-minute drive away from the Temple of Literature is the Hoan Kiem Lake, meaning Lake of the Returned Sword, a historic and cultural landmark in the heart of Hanoi. Hoan Kiem Lake is one of the most famous lakes in the country, known for its serene beauty and deep historical significance. Located in the center of Hanoi, this lake is surrounded by important landmarks including the Old Quarter, French colonial buildings, and bustling commercial streets. The lake spans approximately 30 acres and has a perimeter of around 1.75 kilometers. It is a natural freshwater lake, though urbanization has slightly altered its ecosystem. Hoan Kiem Lake is associated with one of Vietnam's most famous legends, the legend of the returned sword. In the 15th century, Emperor Le Loi, who led the resistance against the Chinese Ming dynasty, is said to have received a magical sword from a divine golden turtle. After successfully driving out the invaders, he returned the sword to the turtle in the lake, signifying peace and prosperity. This event gave the lake its name.
Giá gốc, giá vốn mình ba hai.
The lake has long been home to giant soft shell turtles, believed to be descendants of the legendary turtle in the myth. The most famous specimen, a large swin hose soft shell turtle, lived in the lake until its death in 2016. Here, Justin pointed out the Turtle Tower to me and told me about its history. The Turtle Tower is a small pagoda like structure on a tiny island in the center of the lake. Built in the 19th century, it is a symbol of Hanoi. It represents Vietnamese independence and national pride. Though the islet is not accessible to the public, the tower remains a cherished landmark. These young women were having their photos taken professionally. Justin told me this is quite common as this picturesque setting with its historic landmarks provides a beautiful and culturally rich backdrop for photography. Then we crossed the street to the Lee Thai To Statue and Park, which is another well-known historical and cultural site in Hanoi. It is located in an open plaza surrounded by greenery. This statue commemorates Lee Thai To, the founder of the Lee dynasty and the ruler who moved the Vietnamese capital from Va Le to Thang Long, that is present-day Hanoi, in 1010. The bronze statue depicts the emperor in traditional royal attire, holding a decree symbolizing the edict he issued to relocate the capital. Hoan Kiem Lake is encircled by this scenic park that serves as a tranquil retreat amidst Hanoi's bustling old quarter. The park features well-maintained walking paths, lush greenery and benches, making it a popular spot for both locals and tourists to relax, exercise and enjoy the serene environment. Strolling around the lake's perimeter provides a leisurely experience with the entire loop measuring just over a mile. This makes it an ideal location for walking, jogging or simply unwinding while taking in the picturesque views. This display in the garden around Hoan Kiem Lake commemorates the 70th anniversary of a significant historical event in Vietnam. The date May 7, 1954 is crucial in Vietnamese history because it marks the victory of the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. This battle was a turning point in the First Indochina War where Vietnamese forces led by the Viet Minh under General Vo Nguyen Giap defeated the French colonial army. The victory led to the Geneva Accords of 1954, which resulted in the withdrawal of French forces and set the stage for Vietnam's eventual reunification. This is the entrance to the Guac Sun Temple. The Chinese characters on the tall stone pillars mean fortune or blessing. The temple was built in the 19th century during the Nguyen dynasty and is dedicated to Chun Hung Dao, a national hero who led Vietnam to victory against the Mongols in the 13th century. It also honors La To, the patron of physicians, and Wan Sung, a deity associated with literature and education. The main temple area houses altars, ancient artifacts, and a preserved giant soft-shell turtle believed to be linked to the legendary Hoan Kiem turtle.
Okay? Yes.
The Hook Bridge is a bright red wooden bridge that gracefully arches over the Hoan Kiem Lake, leading to the Guac Son Temple. The name means the bridge where morning sunlight is welcomed. It symbolizes prosperity, light, and good fortune, aligning with traditional Vietnamese beliefs. The red color represents vitality, happiness, and protection in Vietnamese culture. Justin then helped me negotiate a cyclo ride through the Old Quarter, also known as the 36 Streets of Hanoi. The driver asked for 250,000 VND. I had looked up the price. It is usually around 200,000 VND for a 30-minute ride. However, instead of bargaining with him, I asked him if he would give a 5-minute ride to my family, who would be shortly joining me after my ride was done. He happily agreed, and so this is my cyclo ride through the 36 streets of Hanoi. Also known as the Old Quarter, this is a historic commercial district in Vietnam's capital. These streets have been a center of trade and craftsmanship for centuries, with each street historically dedicated to a particular trade, such as silk, silver, bamboo, etc. Though modernization has changed many aspects, remnants of these traditional trades can still be seen today. The Old Quarter originated during the Li and Chun dynasties in the 11th to 14th centuries when artisans and merchants from different villages settled in Hanoi to trade. Each guild set up shops on specific streets which were named after their main product, prefixed by Hang, meaning merchandise or goods. Ta Hien Street, the famous beer street in Hanoi, is located within the 36 streets of the Old Quarter. While it wasn't traditionally one of the original craft or trade streets, it has become the go-to place for street beer culture. It is known for Bia Hoi, that is fresh draft beer, local snacks and a vibrant nightlife atmosphere. When my ride was done, my family joined me and they left for their cyclo ride. To provide a truly immersive experience, the driver even gave up his seat for a few minutes. Then we drove to Train Street. This is a famous narrow railway track running through a residential area with houses, cafes and businesses just inches away from the passing train. It is one of the most iconic and unique sights in the city, drawing tourists who want to experience the thrill of watching a train pass by at close range. This beautiful cat received a lot of attention, with many people, including us, petting it and photographing it while we waited for the train. Many small cafes have sprung up along the track, offering visitors a chance to sit, enjoy Vietnamese coffee and wait for the train to pass. Here I ordered and had my first taste of the famous egg coffee. It is made by whipping egg yolks with sugar and condensed milk to create a creamy frothy layer, which is then poured over strong Vietnamese coffee. Visiting Train Street is a waiting game. Schedules are available online for the time the train passes through the Old Quarter Train Street for weekdays and weekends, but there are often delays, so it's best to check with the cafe owners and staff here as they tend to have the most up-to-date information. As per the day's schedule, 3 trains were to pass through here at 7, 7:45 and 8:30 pm. We had reached before 7 pm and waited almost till 9, but there was no sign of the train, so we decided to leave. So we decided to walk out of Train Street and wait at the crossing for the car to pick us up. Then we heard that the train would be arriving and tried to make our way back, but an official prevented us. I had heard that you have to be seated at a cafe when the train arrives, or you could be asked to leave for safety reasons. My family and Justin crossed the street as he was telling them to do. I waited as I wanted to try and request him to let us back in, as we had waited over 2 hours. Then a huge group of tourists led by a guide somehow made their way through the crowd of people waiting at the crossing at the entrance to the street where my family was. There were too many people in that group for him to control, so he hurriedly allowed them in and allowed me to join their group. My family, however, remained on the other side at the crossing. When a train approaches Train Street, a series of coordinated events take place to ensure safety and efficiency. Residents and shop owners who operate along the narrow railway track quickly clear the tracks, removing chairs, tables and other objects that might be in the way. Tourists and locals move to the designated safe areas along the sides of the street, with officials making sure no one is too close to the passing train. This is another view taken by my family that was on the other side at the crossing. When a train passes through Train Street in Hanoi, the atmosphere is both thrilling and intense. The train moving just inches away from walls and onlookers creates a surreal and exhilarating experience. After the train passes, life returns to normal within seconds. Cafe owners place their tables back out and the street once again becomes a lively, bustling place. The whole experience is a blend of excitement, adrenaline and a unique charm that makes Train Street one of Hanoi's most famous attractions. So that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching and bye for now.